It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Take That, which is not really a Take That game, it's a card game in which you are playing cards from your hand, hoping to avoid having to take penalty cards from the center of the table. That probably sounds familiar, and this game will certainly win no awards for originality, but is the game any good? Let's take a look. The objective of the game is to get the best score possible, and you're going to do that by avoiding taking penalty points and by twisting cards into your positive point pile. I'll talk about that in just a second. Game's going to continue with players playing cards, drawing cards from the deck until the deck is gone and the line of cards has been taken one last time. Then you figure out who's got the best score, alright? Cards come in two different kinds. You have the two-digit cards where the digits are different, and then you have the ones where the digits are the same and they have the big toad there on those, okay? The idea is that these cards have an opposite. So there is a 72 out there somewhere. There's an 83 in the deck somewhere, and so on, all right? And that's going to be important in just a minute for the twisting, as I said, of cards. So I'm going to be the star player, and I'm going to play a card out to the line, starting the line. Then I draw a card, and then it is my opponent's turn. In this case, I'm just playing with two people, but you could play with more. And they are going to have one of two choices. You can twist a card, which means play the opposite of this. So if I had the 83, which I do not, I could play it, and I could take both and put them in a positive score pile for myself, okay? Each card being one positive point. If I cannot do that, then the other option is to play a card. To play a card next to this one, it has to be at most 10 higher or 10 lower. So this would be perfectly fine. And then I would draw a card, and that would be it for me, and it's back to my opponent now. If I cannot do either one of those things, I can neither play a card nor twist a card, then I have to take all of the line, put it face down in front of me somewhere, and those are going to be negative points. Each of these is -1. Each of these is -5. All right, so that's it. Now it would be back to me, and let's see here. I could do the 28 and draw a card, and so on, very simply. Now this player is going to play the 82 here, and twist both of these, face up in front of them, draw a replacement. They're done. It comes back to me. Let's assume I cannot play. I would take both of these as penalty points, and then a new card starts the line, and so on, all right? That's pretty much it. It's a very simple, very straightforward game. That should give you an idea of how it plays. Let me tell you what I thought of it. I tend to be a fan of these kinds of games. I call them the numbers and colors card games, in which you have, some deck of cards. They have numbers. They sometimes have colors. You play them out. You collect them, or avoid them, or empty your hand, or fill your hand. They all sort of do something similar. And the one example in the genre that everybody seems to know, the pinnacle of it, is Six Nimmt, right? And that one is very popular, has sold very, very well. They are all really simple. They are all going to play well with varied groups. They are all not to really be taken very seriously because they have a ton of luck. And so knowing that should already inform you partly as to whether this is something you're going to like. The game should be very apparent how it will play out from the overview I just gave you. And it's fine. It's an engaging game. It is fun, but there's no tactical engagement here really at all. If you can play, you play. The only moment you're going to have a more sort of interesting choice is when the line has been emptied and you play a brand new card rather, to the empty line. You want to decide where you're starting, taking a look at your hand of cards and seeing, okay, if I start here, I've got cards around both sides, so depending on where the other players take it, I'm giving myself more opportunities. That's fine, but that's obvious. You can figure that out by looking at your hand of cards. And so, yeah, the game is super lucky. it's swingy, it's gonna be, that kind of game. But it's also simple and easy to teach. And it will kill a few minutes very easily. And so I don't dislike it, but I also think there are better games in this style of game, and there are many of them. And so while this one isn't bad, and there have been some bad ones, I also don't think it's phenomenal. If you enjoyed the overview, if you want to have an after dinner card play of something that's not going to outstay its welcome, that's going to be very simple, that's going to allow you to, throw down a card and steal something and then be out of the running for, pushing your luck at a big line and having to take all the penalty points. You're going to get some of those moments in here, but nothing revolutionary, nothing that's really going to, I think, be anyone's favorite game or anything like that. So, this is a mostly positive review. I don't want to sound like I'm being negative, but it's also not one that I'm necessarily going to be pulling out of the collection when I'm thinking of the numbers and colors kinds of games. Take that.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.